Hi, my name is Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. It's review day! Today I'm reviewing the Zoom H5. Is this possibly the best field recorder available? Let's find out. Is the Zoom H5 possibly the best field recorder out there? Very likely. Now, in the spectrum of audio recording capabilities, you can start from using, just whipping out your phone, because I've seen journalists doing it all the time, to Zoom products in the couple $100, all the way up to the $1,000 with the sound devices. There's a huge spectrum of availability. And what do you choose? Well, the Zoom products have been super popular for indie producers and indie filmmakers like myself because their price point versus performance is incredible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into the specifics of this device a bit, give you a good overview and see what it's like, and then you'll decide for yourself. But before I get into that, if you wouldn't mind just scrolling down just a tiny bit and hitting the subscribe button. Hitting the subscribe button helps support my channel and makes this much easier to bring you material. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the Zoom H5, a couple of its capabilities, how it records, do a couple quick audio tests with the built-in microphone, with the XLR using a couple different mics. Obviously, I am not in a treated microphone room, so there's going to be a lot of echo and reverb. But I think that's a good, brutal test to see, like, oh, hey, how does it really handle tough conditions? So initially, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you here what the Zoom H5 looks like. There you go. It's got all the usual record controls. It's got a bar protecting the left and right channel record, or the left and right channel XLR and TRS inputs. And it has a single mono control here. Now, why would you choose the Zoom over, say, the Sony ICD recorder, which is totally great? I mean, this thing does a good job. Why would you go with something more serious? Well, the Sony ICD has a microphone input, just like the Zoom has a microphone input. The Sony ICD, you can talk at it, So why would you spend a couple $100 more or more to get the Zoom H5? Well, obviously, what's in here is definitely not in here. And, or vice versa, sorry. What's in here can't be jammed into here. No XLR capability, no multi-channel, multi-track, and certainly not in your phone. You can certainly do things with your phone, but not like you can do with the field recorder. By the way, I'm going to put links to all the products that I'm going to show in this video, the Zoom, the Sony, all my microphones, my FET head, everything, so you can, hey, like, yeah, that looks pretty cool. Let me check out the link. So this is something to consider if you need a stealthy or micro portable recorder. Highly recommended. So initially when you pick up the Zoom, I'm going to show it in this lens here. You'll see that it comes with two microphones. This is actually a stereo pair of microphones, and this allows you to record left-right stereo. So if you've got sound on one side or sound on the other, it actually does a very good job of sound recording. Now, these the old Zoom H4N actually had the ability to do 90-degree stereo or 120-degree hyper stereo. This guy cannot do that. However, you can actually remove the microphone capsule. Let's see if I can get that off there, because I don't remove it that much. You have to press both buttons, and you pull that off, and you can see this universal jack in here. There are multiple products that you can hook up here. This Zoom has a shotgun, a single ball mic, the stereo mic that it comes with. I don't know if there are any other settings, but I'll put links below to those things as well. So that's pretty incredible. And you can see this unit has a standard LCD, no big deal there. But it has power, hold, USB interface. That's huge because you can actually use the Zoom as an audio interface. So there's a thing called the Scarlett series of audio interfaces. you can actually use a professional microphone like, this microphone here. If you ever wished you could get microphone audio directly into your computer, it is, oh, hey, that's actually showing in the screen. It is actually possible with the Zoom H4n. It totally works on my iMac. I usually use my Scarlett, but the Zoom, that's how I recorded my first audio book. It's got a headphone jack and line out, so you can actually plug in this Zoom into another system with a line out. On the other side, it's got a remote port, so you can actually have the remote control. Somewhere I've got the remote. I don't use it much. A interesting dual rocker switch where it rocks left and right, but it also pushes in. That's how you select. You can get into the menu here, and it's got a port for an SD card. No big deal there. I always use these guys. The 16 gig is more than enough. I mean, even if you're recording in crazy levels of audio intensity with high data rates, I never use a big card, because this one thing about the Zoom is it takes a while for it to initialize, read the card structure, and figure out, hey, what's going on. So if you put a really big chip, I think the Zoom supports up to a 32 gig. Just know that startup is going to take a while. On the bottom of the Zoom, it has 2 XLR inputs, and this is where you get into professional audio. But also, the cool part about this is that not only does it have the XLR inputs, but it's got a tip ring sleeve input as well. So whether you have an XLR input like this, you can use an XLR input into the Zoom, or you have a 1/4-20 jack, you can actually plug either of them in, which is totally cool. Click, and we'll do that again just for you. Or, that is very positive, or you can plug in the XLR connector as well, and it slides right in there. Now note that the Zoom does not have a locking mechanism for the XLR. Normally high-end professional gear has a little lock to prevent this from falling out. That's why this is only a couple $100 and not thousands. I actually wish they had the little locky deal. It would be a lot better, but that's just their design trade. So you've got a left and right channel there. Now, this Zoom can record 4 tracks of audio. That means 2 stereo lines. So you can have a left track, a right track, and then record simultaneously. And I'll actually, I guess I could actually do that for you. Why not? I might as well demonstrate it. On all the microphone capsules, they do have a volume control here. It's really nice, and they've also put this bar on here so you do not inadvertently turn that dial. I find it kind of gets in the way, but I don't do a lot of audio in the field sound work. Also, if you think you're going to do some very serious sound work and you're going to become a sound guy, even though the Zoom is a good starter, you really want to consider stepping up to sound devices or something much more serious, because even though this is good, it doesn't fit into a audio gear pocket very well. And also I want to show you on the back has a speaker input as well. And let's see, what else does it have? Oh yeah, the capsule comes with a microphone or line in. So you can hook a 1/8 inch or 3.5 millimeter microphone in or a line in. This thing, I mean, this handles a lot of different stuff. Also line out, and you can also power the Zoom off of the USB line as well, which is nice. So even if you don't have data in there, you can use a mini, not a micro connector. Now in the battery compartment, you can see it's got AA's in there. It's got the nice little pull strap, and no big deal. You pop that out. Pretty standard there. One of the things about the Zoom too is normally I would leave the batteries out of my devices at all times. However, the Zoom will forget the date and time, and geez, that's annoying. So I leave my in-a-loop batteries inside here. I'll show you in this here too, to keep the date and time saved. Now normally I would never recommend leaving batteries in your sensitive electronics because they can corrode. I've never, knock on wood, whatever that's worth, had a problem with inner loops discharging and gooping up, but do not leave alkalines in here because they can start to corrode and it'll pour corrosion good in there and it will wreck your microphone. So I'm going to turn this unit on, and you can do that with the pull switch here. You pull that down, you pull it down, and the zoom says now loading SD card access. It also has a backlight, which is very nice for you to see. And you'll see that right now I've got the 192 kilobits per second, and I've got 48 volt input active. So this has phantom power as well. I mean, it's like, what's phantom power? Oh boy, yeah. If you've always thought, hey, how do I power some of these microphones? That's a huge capability. And you can see how much recording time I've got on here, 184 hours on a 16 gig card at 192 kilobits per second. So it's pretty crazy. You can hit play, so you can, no files on there. Hit stop. You can choose your left-right input for the XLR, or you can choose the 1-2 stereo here. Now you'll notice that the stereo is not recording. So you have to press the record button, and then, where are we? And then the pause button. And there we go. Now notice you can't get the audio levels. That is one bummer about the Zoom, is the H4n allowed you to press the button twice to, or a single time to get the audio levels. But this guy, blinking pause, you have to begin the recording. Oops, here, let's start the recording. And we're going to crank up the volume here. I'm on, these are the XLR channels. That's why they're not working. And here's the left, right. Notice you can't change the channels while you're recording. Very nice. So what we're going to do is stop. Yeah, my mistake there. It's okay. We'll go to the left, right channels. And now you can actually see that without recording, you can see the microphone levels cruising along. So that is very nice. So I can talk into the microphone here and get that going. So what I'm going to do is, now that I've shown you the basics, I'm going to put the Zoom on a tripod because it has that 1/4-20 mount here. And that way I can play with it a little bit better and give you a better feedback. So I'm going to pause the video here and we'll cut, and then I'll come right back. Okay, so I've got the Zoom set up for my display here so we can see what's going on in the display and also talk to you this way, but I just wanted to be able to flip this around. So note that you can actually put these professional headphones on. I'll put a link to these below, the Sony MDR 7506s. And you can put that headphone jack into the left-hand side here. And I can hear, by standing on the right, I can definitely hear in my headphone that I've got more sound coming in here, and you can also see that on display. But as I move around to the left, I can hear the left end here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit record, and I'm going to have to turn the volume up a bit. Test. There we go. So now I'm standing on extreme right of the microphone, and I'm moving to the center, and you can see the center is there. And then I'm going to go over to the left, and hopefully the left side will start recording differently. So you can hear a terrible echo in here because this room isn't treated. But as I move around, you can hear the stereo changing. So it's actually really, really cool. So this is the nice thing about this setup. So now I'm going to turn the volume down here, and I'm going to show you the different capabilities with these microphones. Now, depending on what you got going, you can either have a dynamic or a condenser type microphone. There are two types, basically. And I've got this Sennheiser 395 microphone here. Now this thing is a really, really nice stage microphone. This guy is pretty powerful. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the cable over here. It's got an XLR connector on there, and powerful meaning super, super clear. So what I'm going to do is, and that's, by the way, the phantom power here. I need to shut the phantom power off because theoretically you're not supposed to put a dynamic mic with phantom. This guy always handles it. In fact, you know what? I'll prove it. So the phantom power is on the left. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop my recording. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to put this microphone in channel 1. And now let's see what we've got. When we are recording, I'm going to take the microphone off here and see if we can turn up channel 1. So we've got plenty of heat on recording. The zoom also shows you the peaking meter. So if you're really loud, you can see that the meter peaked. By that little bar in the upper part there, that's where the microphone actually peaked. You never want to have microphone peaking in digital because it'll scratch and it'll ruin your shot. So to clear it, you just press the 1-2 button. Let me zoom out just a touch so you can see what I'm doing. Hang on. This is all like a thing without a spare cameraman here. There we go. So you can actually see what I'm doing. And now all I have to do is press the 1-2 button and it will clear the peaking indicator. So I will turn that back on and you can see what I sound like. So now I'm going to put the microphone back in the microphone stand, and I'm going to hit record. This is recording number 2. You can see where my microphone is. I will put the Sennheiser E935 audio track on now. So the audio track is coming from the 935 into the zoom. Now I've got this in a dual mode, where you can put a single XLR line into the zoom and it will record on both the left and the right tracks. So that's pretty slick. So one of the ideas about the zoom is you can actually record your vocal with the zoom facing into your mouth, and then you can have one channel onto your guitar or something and then another channel on the XLR into another device. So that's pretty slick. So one of the things about recording left-right simultaneously is that you end up with 6 dB less of audio. It's just a peculiarity of how things work in the audio world. I find it utterly irritating, but that's just the way it works. So that you can tell the audio level here. So not too shabby, right? Good. So now I'm going to take the microphone away and I'm going to stop recording. Good. And now I'm going to use, that was my dynamic microphone there. And again, I am not in a sound treated room or anything, so obviously it's not going to sound all that great. Now I've got a shotgun microphone. This is like this whole reporter thing, right? It's pretty cool. On my Canon microphone stand, I've got the shotgun. It's an Audio-Technica 875 shotgun. Now, traditionally, shotguns don't work great in an enclosed space. They're designed for an outside space. But I just want to show you how it works and sounds in the Zoom with tough conditions. So I'm going to plug that into the Zoom now, and you'll see a momentary pop on the audio. You'll also see that flash there, and this microphone is really intensely sensitive. So when I'm speaking, you can see that blinking. That indicates that you've also peaked, and you can see that on the peaking meter here that I've blown out the number 1 channel. So I need to turn that level down quite a bit. Going to shut this off, turn this back on. And now, how are we doing? Ooh, yeah, that's much better. So I'm going to turn up the sensitivity so we get plenty loud, but not too loud. Whoa, 12 should be the max. That's still too loud. 12 should be the max. I'm looking at the screen here. I'll just gain this up a bit and compress it, but I'm now going to hit record on the Zoom, and now we're going to record the condenser, or not the condenser, sorry, too many things going. The Audio-Technica 875, I'm now recording. I'm about 6 inches from my mouth, and I'm at the 4 setting here. Now, one of the things about this is you can hear that audio, you can hear the reverb in the room. Definitely worst case scenario, but it should be picking up a lot of stuff. One of the things about this is if you're having gain issues where you have to turn the gain up, say past about 6, you are going to get preamp noise. There is a total way around this. The trick, let's see, I'll find the right side to put this thing on, is the Fethead Phantom by Triton Audio. I highly recommend this thing. This thing will give you 18 to 20 dB of gain depending on which model you buy. It is incredible. So now you can actually plug this into the bottom of the Zoom and get way louder audio with, I've never heard any noise. My ears are still pretty good, but this guy you can hook into the bottom of the Zoom and get incredible audio. So we've been recording on the Audio-Technica 875R shotgun the whole time. I haven't been using the Fethead, but I don't need to. So there you go, and I can also, when I've got this going, I can plug into here in the headphones, and I can hear myself and hear what I've got going. You can also control, where is it? You can also adjust the volume of the headphones. Right now it's at 66, not too shabby, and I can hear it just fine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my headphones off, and we're going to do a left-right channel comparison of these two microphones. Now this should be interesting. But first I'm going to have to shut off the left-right mixing. So I'm going to stop recording here. Okay. I'm going to have to step around to see what I'm doing in the menu, but I'm going to go into the menu, file folder, in, out, record, play, tool, system, SD card, USB, record mode, stereo file, multi-file, perfect. All right, system, where are we? Play, record. Okay, in, out, low cut. So this has a low cut filter, a compressor, a limiter, phantom power control, plug-in power. You can actually do a different plug-in power thing. This has a 20 dB pad, so you can cut if the audio is way too loud or you've got a line signal that's intense. It's got a 20 dB pad. The in1 matrix is on, so we need to shut off, let's see, where is it? The input setting, mid-side, sorry, side level, mid-level, on, off. I'm going to shut off the mix, so now it's not matrixed anymore, and the mono mix is where you could put, a single channel in and it splits it on both. I'm now going to, shut that off. And now line out level also has control there. So you can crank that up. And now you can see that I only have a single channel of audio in. So let's listen to see what that sounds like. I'm going to record into the left channel only. And I'm going to adjust the volume until I'm peaking at 6, give or take. It's hard to see the LCD here. Yeah, there we go. And I'm peaking at 6. Now that's a really, really close setting for a shotgun microphone. Normally you'd be way, way back here, so I'd have to turn up the gain quite a bit. But you get the general idea. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in the dynamic onto the right channel, and it'll be a little pop. There you go. Okay, so now you can hear the dynamic microphone. Now, one of the things about microphones is the dynamic is meant to be pretty close when you're speaking loud and playing a rock concert, or me as a motivational speaker with an audience. The shotgun's meant to be much farther away. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the gain up on the dynamic here, and you'll see, let's see if I can point the microphone the right way. So I'm speaking at about the normal level here, and I've got the shotgun pointing at me. So let's see, make sure the recording is rolling. Good, the recording is rolling. So now in the right channel, I'm recording in the Sennheiser E935, and in the left channel, I've got phantom power on, and I'm recording into a shotgun microphone with the Audio-Technica 875R. So this Zoom is super capable. I'm actually not going to even bother doing the 4-channel because without me standing in front of the microphone to speak there, it's really going to sound all reverby and messed up. So this just gives you an idea of the capabilities of the Zoom H5. I totally love this thing. Let me stop the recording. Okay, recording stopped. I'm going to pull the microphones away. All right, and make sure I don't yank my Zoom off the stand here. I will also put a link to my favorite K&M microphone stand. There is definitely a difference between microphone stands. Between the RA and the K&M. The K&M is incredible. The RA is okay, but that K&M is just so much better. So the Zoom H5 is an incredible, capable recorder. I haven't even touched on the music capacity, the phantom power hookups. It's very versatile. It's got a pad in there. It has an ability for beat timing in music. I mean, for a musician, it's actually an incredible tool. So for the cost of this little unit, check it out below, but this is generally how I use the unit. Check it. I'm gonna have to make another video for the audio interface for the H5, but the Zoom H5 is just mind-blowing in its capability. Of all the things you just saw me do in this little recorder, yes, it does take a little bit of time to learn how to use, but once you get going, it's highly, highly capable. Like any other prosumer or super low-end professional audio tool, it does take some time to learn. You might learn that, hey, I need to get a fathead preamp because my microphone is just not that loud compared to the audio input on the Zoom, and you know, that's okay. Once I bought one, man, I can record so much with this shotgun microphone. It literally blows me away. So I highly recommend the Zoom H5 recorder. It will give you capabilities beyond your wildest dreams when you're getting into audio. I know the H4n or the H1, you know, there's some other options, but if you really think you're going to do some fun things with your audio and you want to have some great capability, the H5, I cannot recommend it enough. Check out the link below, click it, you'll see hundreds and hundreds of reviews of why people like theirs. I just utterly love it. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker, and also an amateur filmmaker, and that's why, actually not an amateur filmmaker because I make money at this. I'm a low-end pro filmmaker. How about that? I'm a hack that makes money. And that's why I have the H5. I've got all these microphone stands and gear, all these things you can see behind me, so that way I can bring you more enjoyable shows and media. Please like and comment on the video. Scroll to the bottom, leave a comment, and let me know, hey, can you do a review about this or that? And if I've got it, I'll do a review for you. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, that way it helps support my channel and make this much easier. Please support my channel on Venmo and PayPal. Thank you very much for watching.